night before Christmas to be good.
And in 3, 2, 1, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 2 of the 9th annual 12 podcast of Christmas. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Francois the Nation.
I'm Andrew Sorsdahl. You got to think of these before. It can't be a pause every time.
Cloud, or what's the hell's his name?
BitCloud?
BitCloud. I'm
From
Zoids. I'm BitCloud.
New Century Zero, one of the
BitCloud.
greatest television programs in the history of time.
Today we have joining us
I'm Chance Gonzalez, local magician.
It is actually
international
International icon.
interdimensional icon.
Interdimensional icon.
Interdimensional magic icon.
So we told you
Joe
we'd have
Bluth.
new stuff this year. We told you it would be hot.
Okay.
We told you it would be hot this year on the podcast. Instead of just a bunch of musicians, we have a magician. Swap a couple letters out, and we have something new for
That's
you.
probably what happened. You probably thought I was a musician.
Yeah.
Is the goal, are we trying to do 6 guests again, or are we just going to try to fucking do as many as we can?
I think as many as we can, baby.
Hell yeah.
As many guests as possible.
Yeah.
We usually have, in the past few years, we've kind of gone with like a 50-50 model. So
I see.
6, just the 3 of us, 6 with guests.
Yeah.
And we've already got, podcasts with guests. There's a couple of them that have more than one.
Yeah.
But we've already got 5 now
Oh, wow.
booked, like planned and booked.
You are both wearing sunglasses.
Yeah. What do you mean?
I started the trend. Brad's just a fucking follower.
I wear
but
these all the time, and they were on top of my head last episode.
Also, I apologize. I forgot that it was Christmas themed, so I showed up.
Oh, no.
No, this is better. This is way better. Nobody ever dresses up, just us, and I'm wearing women's tights.
Paul Kuzmic.
Oh, he did.
He wore a
a
Christmas sweater.
Christmas sweater, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the only one out
It
of
was so
10,
wholesome. He
9
looked,
years.
it was a good one.
So how did we meet, Chance? Do you remember?
I do remember. We met at Sports on Tap.
Yeah. Fran and I were there, I think.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
wasn't there, actually.
Yeah, Fran and I were there for Swade's birthday, I think it was.
Something like that.
Yeah, we were there celebrating someone's birthday, and you were in like the banquet room or whatever
Yeah,
with another group.
I can't remember why I was there. I just...
And then you just kind of came around. You were just doing like just practicing magic for.
Yeah, I was
a bunch
going
of people.
table to table, and I saw your guys' table, and it looked like a fun table, so I was like, maybe they would like to see a card trick. And thankfully I did that.
Anyway, so
Yeah.
I had left about an hour earlier, and Fran and Andrew contacted me next day, like, oh my God, this guy was so good. I'm like, you guys were hammered, and some random guy came up and started doing close-up magic at the table. I'm like, I'll meet this guy sober, and we'll see how this goes.
No, I will forever maintain this is like my favorite fucking trick ever, and it's always impressive.
Oh, yeah.
If somebody's never had it done to them, it blows your mind every time.
Fucking no.
And he came up to us and he did the salt trick, where basically it's
Yeah.
like you make things appear with salt, and I won't say any more than that. But it's just like you did it with such confidence, and you nailed it too, which is awesome because I feel like at that time that might have been one that you were a little.
Yeah, I just started learning that one.
Yeah, that one. So it's like, but you fucking nailed it that night. And man, oh man, I was just like,
It blew me away.
yeah, this
Blew
is
me
like,
away.
it's like, that's the thing. You didn't just come up with card tricks, which would have been awesome, but you came up with other stuff. And yeah, we were.
No, I mean, the interesting thing is, like, sometimes, especially Andrew's a very enthusiastic person, so sometimes he's like, I met the king of Tibet, all the whole world's going to change now.
I feel like if you met the king of Tibet, that'd be a pretty big deal.
I don't think I've ever met someone who hasn't been good. They might the relationship might not have worked
You've
out.
never met anyone that wasn't
No, but
good?
I don't
met
think-
anybody
I-
that
no,
wasn't
I mean,
good?
I haven't like had that thing
No,
happen.
you're
and
just a
then
very
been like,
enthusiastic person. And
I am. I'm not
that's
saying
not
I'm not.
taking you away. That's not a takeaway.
No, I'm just.
That's a positive. Anyway, so I was like, all right, well, we'll see. I'll temper the expectations a little bit. And then we went to Boston Pizza
Yeah.
to meet up with you. And then you did that trick where you got me to read a Wikipedia page. I'm like,
Yeah.
this isn't close-up magic. You're doing something with my
Like burn the
brain,
witch.
or you have access to my telecommunications network, which both I'm very uncomfortable with. And like, I'm going to go on a limb here and say that you somehow figured this out without hacking me. Anyway, so I was sold. I'm like, oh my God, these idiots know what they're talking about. This guy actually is amazing. And then we ended up filming a show for you.
Yeah, it was on my 23rd birthday, so it was 3 years ago.
Wow, that's crazy. Wow, that's a
Yeah,
long
I met you guys, I
story.
think I was 21, maybe? 20 or 21.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe even younger. I can't remember. It was when I first started, like, doing it publicly, because I was way too awkward and shy to do it publicly. Like, only my mom really knew I did magic up until I was, like, 18 or 19.
What year did you graduate?
2015.
2015.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that sounds right then.
I dropped out. I was supposed to graduate 2014, but I left school and did boxing for like a year, and then went back and graduated.
What are you fucking box?
So fast forward, Chance does another show. We get back in touch again after you come back from Alberta, do another show.
Yeah.
And
in January.
Tell us where you're at now, the kind of tricks between now and then that you've come around to, and give us a little bit of your backstory with magic.
For sure. So I guess, what do you want to start with, the backstory?
Yeah.
Or? Okay. I started doing magic when I was like 15 or 16. That's when I actually started like practicing it and stuff. But I've always been like in that space, I guess. Like I was obsessed with circuses when I was young, and they used to have circuses in Saskatoon or like around the areas. And I remember always being like fascinated by the performers, not like so much the magic parts of it or anything, but like the clowns were the weird thing to latch onto. But I always was interested in a performer like because clowns, they hurt themselves quite a bit. They put themselves through like embarrassing moments, but at the end of the day, they have to like train pretty hard for all that stuff. And that's always like kind of stuck with me. And then when I was 15, I saw David Blaine do a needle through hand, and that kind of sparked the whole like, oh, maybe I could do magic and like stunt kind of stuff. So I told my mom, as soon as I saw that, I showed her, and I was like, look what this guy does. And I showed her, I was like, I want to do that. And she's like, learn a card trick first. And then I learned with she came home one day and she had like a mini casino deck, like a really small one, and that was my first deck I learned a card trick with. And then got
Was it
obsessed.
like a half-size deck of cards?
Way smaller than half. Like
I've seen them before.
that,
They're like so tiny.
That'd be so difficult.
it was awful.
It's like so much of it is like cards are already pretty small.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard. Like,
And I remember I didn't want to get like a bicycle deck because I didn't want her to know that I was like practicing card tricks, because like I thought it was weird. And then I was like, do you want to see a card trick? And then I showed her with that tiny deck, and she freaked out and then bought me a bicycle deck. I still have that deck as well.
Oh, that's adorable.
It was my first one. I had it for like 4 months, I think, and it's beat up.
Yeah, no doubt.
it is weird how much like some of the public perception with magic is like the what's his name in Arrested Development.
Job.
Yeah. It's like very
Illusions,
Michael. Whatever. It's like
They're
people
illusions,
only,
Michael.
you only need to show people like one good trick, and then they're like, oh, okay, no, this is super sick. This is so sick. This is sick.
Yeah, that's one thing that's super true, though, is the perception of a magician. Because I've definitely had times where, similar to what you were explaining earlier, like my friend will be, or some of my friends will be like, yeah, my friend does magic, and instantly everyone thinks like balloon
Bullshit.
animals or like clown stuff, I guess.
That's immediately I was like, because when I left, they were tight. And I'm like, you guys are misremembering what this random guy did at the table. Like, it's like, hey, look, there's a balloon coming out of my crotch or something. And then I met him, and he's like, oh my God, oh no, this gentleman is very proficient.
What a vote of non-confidence that was.
And I'm very shocked with me. It's I'm pretty tempered with my my judgments. I wait a while, but like I'll say this too. It's like his youth was a big thing, because it wasn't like it was some 45, 50-year-old man who came up to us who it's like he's kind of like his career isn't gonna go farther than
We're
this
past
necessarily.
it's
like we were pretty lucky. It's like Chance was like just starting, and it was like how many years did you say you were doing magic at that point?
At that point, publicly, only like 2. Privately, since I was 15 or 16, so like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
And again, this wasn't a voted on confidence against you guys. It's just like I've left you in situations where
100%.
you've been drunk enough to introduce me to a light post.
I know what you mean, though, because even for me, if I heard like someone was performing for us and it was incredible, my friends were drunk, I'd be like, was it though?
Yeah. And the one thing I really love about hanging out with you is that we hang out with a lot of cool, super talented musicians, and I'm like, hey, do this music thing. And for the most part, they're like, no, I don't do. I spent 18 years being a cover artist. I don't do that shit anymore. It's not like Dance Monkey Dance. But Chad's like, I'll fucking put a needle through wherever. He just loves doing it. It's like, fuck yeah. It's like, hey, other person, come over here and look at this. He'll do it again, which is awesome.
Yeah, we even we brought a bunch of our friends to because you did us a big favor and you helped us out with Clash of the Cap the first time.
Yeah, that was my first time on stage.
Yeah, and then we had like a bunch of our friends were there. And yeah, you fucking blew their minds. I think some of them are still on your website. I was looking at that. I'm like, fuck yeah. Like I think Lena's still on there. And
that was
Swade's
awesome.
Still on there.
Yeah. I remember that. I was shaking. I was so nervous because like my show was in a month, I think, or a month and a half, and I did want to get some practice on stage, obviously. And
the timing worked out perfectly.
Yeah. And I was like, hey, let me run home really quick so I can grab like books or something.
Yeah.
So I could do, because I remember it was just a handheld mic, so I had to do a lot of hands-off stuff. And I was so nervous, but your friends were like awesome. Like perfect.
Oh yeah, because you were just going to do some table-to-table stuff.
Yeah.
And then that band dropped out. We're like, can you get up on stage and do like some stage shit?
Yeah, we had. Yeah, right.
That band, they were 10 minutes before they were supposed to go on, and it was like, whatever the band name is, doesn't exist, was their response to, hey, are you going to be here for sound check?
Yeah, this X band doesn't exist. I was like, all right, well, we got to figure something out in the middle of that
15 minutes before sound check, it's like, are you going to be here? It's like, we don't exist anymore.
We're not
like,
that. I'm like,
that's
all right,
that's an extreme answer.
Oh wait, they like broke up?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
that day, literally.
It was very dramatic. I remember that.
I didn't know that. That's awful timing.
Yeah.
You think you would at least try to get through like
It
one
was-
more show?
To be fair, it was very extreme circumstances that the one party had no
Oh.
control over. So it was like, it was just a shitty situation, but it was, it's very odd looking at the text chain and it's like, hey, you're going to be here for sound check? It's like, whatever I can't remember what the band name is, whatever the band name doesn't exist anymore. It's like,
Oh, at first I
Cool.
thought you meant the band name doesn't exist.
That's a sick band.
that would be
That's a
fucking
good
awesome.
band.
that's a good band name. Call it.
The band doesn't exist.
Censor that part. Save that for me.
So what's on tap for you coming up next? So you went to Alberta for a while.
Yeah. So I've been living in Calgary, and I think that's probably where I want to live for like long
Permanently?
term. Yeah, it's amazing there. I love Saskatchewan, and it is kind of stressful like driving back and forth for hirings and stuff, but
Yeah.
I mean it's also a nice drive, and get to do what I like, so it's awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so for the show that I had in January that you guys did, that was I think the best feedback from the show was how good the camera work was.
Oh, wow.
that's
It was
nice.
insane.
The show was great.
That camera, like the production was absolutely incredible. And like I kept like accidentally like looking over and seeing how well everything was placed and all the angles, and like it would just distract me slightly because I was like, oh my God, this is crazy.
Yeah.
It was good. I'm glad we did that first one.
Yeah.
That was like a really good like litmus, because like that one was basically like just make sure that he's big enough so the people at the back of the room can see everything. And it was really nice to do that first one, because then it was like the second time it was like
No,
already had a
exactly.
bunch of ideas of like where things need to be.
And
this
now-
time it's
now
gonna
with
be
this
like
next one,
yeah, it's
we
gonna be way better.
We have more cameras.
Yeah, better cameras.
Better cameras.
Yeah.
The top down angle was like, that was the perfect addition to it.
Yeah, it
'Cause
helps a lot.
It allowed me to spread cards on the table so that way people can see them and everything.
And then this time, what like the fail, not a failing, but it was like literally like the
Only issue.
yeah, the issue that we had was like the cameras have something that's called dynamic range, which is like the brightest brights and the darkest darks, right?
Yeah.
So like playing, and like when you're on a stage like that, you have playing cards which are white, and then you
Yeah.
have like also stuff that's like black. So it's
Yeah.
like, and you got to
And
try
my
to find
outfit
this
as well. is
Yeah, you got to
all
try to
black.
find this like nice midpoint. And with the camera we were using, it wasn't the easiest, but these cameras have like far better dynamic
Yeah.
range, so like that shouldn't even be like an issue at all this time around.
One
which
of
is
the
nice.
audience members sent me a clip of when I was doing the needle in my hand, like right after the cheek one.
Mhm.
And the angles you guys had on that looked cinematic. It was awesome.
Because we used one of the
We used a Black Magic,
Yeah.
2 of them. No, we
No,
couldn't
we
use
only
the
had the
production.
we
So-
had the one.
So it was the one Black Magic and
5Ds
two
and the
5Ds
XF.
in the XF.
Yep.
Sorry,
Oh, no.
I went off track there a little bit.
No,
Sorry.
that's
No,
okay.
no.
Anyway, so yeah, you did.
Calgary, you were in Calgary, coming
Yeah.
back and forth.
Yeah, and so like my goal for each show, and like I guess my career with Magic is, I want to keep pushing myself as hard as possible with like, just like because I'm heavily inspired by. I have them tattooed on me. I don't know if they can see that, but David
yeah.
Blaine and Houdini.
Oh yeah, Chance. There you got an angle. That's that middle camera there.
Yeah.
Boom, baby.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Maybe you can see it.
But David Blaine and Houdini are like my biggest inspirations, and the things that they did in Magic is just incredible, like stunts and everything. And so for my first show, I didn't even think I could do it, like if it was possible or not. And I kind of thought I was maybe crazy a bit because spent 7 years learning, like wanting to put a needle in my hand and like researching it, reaching out to different magicians, seeing who would teach me. And it took forever, like actually 7 years. And when I finally learned it, then and performed it, I was like, that was kind of a turning point for me, because I was like, well, I can't really quit now because I just stuck an object all the way through my hand.
Yeah, no doubt.
If I was like, and I picture being like 50 and still doing card tricks, but like just for fun, and being like, yeah, I used to be able to put like needles in my body, but I just gave it up.
Yeah.
So then after that, it took me a while to think of what to do next, because I don't want to also just keep copying or redoing what David Blaine or Houdini has done. So I was like, what can I do next? And then I remember I used to be really into like this human pincushion idea. And there's this guy that could also like put a sword all the way through his body, which is insane. But he got too confident and he like ate a bunch of needles.
Now, Chance, that can't be safe, Chance. Can you just talk a little bit about the safety concerns when you're putting a sword through your body, Chance?
I recommend everyone try it at least once.
Yeah.
How do you know? How do you know?
It's like
So
acupuncture.
this guy ate too much? Ate a bunch of needles?
Yeah, so he ate a bunch of needles, and he thought he could like push them back out, but he died. So really,
Let's avoid those.
really
So
anticlimactic.
Chance, dying isn't good, right, Chance? If you're gonna,
I'd recommend everyone try it at least once.
I recommend everyone try it at least.
Can we have you disavow dying on the show, please?
yeah, Chance, can you please go further than die? What's dying like, Chance?
I've died a little bit on stage sometimes. And it's
How do you put-
not a good
So
feeling?
when you perform your illusions, do you call upon Satan himself, or is it another form of dark magic?
Welcome back to the Christian Question Podcast. Today we're going to be...
Christian Question Podcast.
Okay, so
A little bit of Satan, a little bit of God.
obviously, because your tricks are like, don't reveal tricks, because that's the whole illusion of them.
Yeah.
You're not tricking anyone about putting a fucking needle in your hand. It's
No.
like,
Putting a needle through your head, like that's
somebody
really
was, I
happening.
told somebody you were going to do that, and they're like, well, how does he do it? I'm like, he pushes the needle all the way through his hand. It's not like the cards on the back of the card and there's two queens. It's like, no.
Yeah.
So tell us about the actual
Process of it.
process of putting a needle through your hand.
So in everybody's hand, and I guess, I don't know, I'm sure I'm okay to reveal,
You've met
not
everyone?
reveal this, but if you have two hands at least. I can't speak for anyone else's hands, but for my hand in particular, there's and other people's, but I just wouldn't know the spot. There's a spot between your like kind of knuckle and between your index and middle finger. There's a spot where if you hit it right with the needle and you push through, you can avoid, and you go slow, obviously, you can avoid your veins and nerves. And it's basically just like muscle and fat that you're poking through. Still hurts like incredibly, but way less if you hit a nerve or blow a vein. And once you find that sweet spot, you just push through. And then once it hits the back of the palm, that's the roughest spot, because it's just, I don't even know how to explain it. Just raw palm. It hurts like really bad. But then when that's my favorite part though, because like you can let go of the needle, and at this point, people, even still after seeing it, like people don't know if it's real or not. And that's how I'm trying to perform it more now, is making it seem like a trick, so that way people question it after. But then yeah, when you turn your hand over, you push up, and then you'll see the bump.
I remember.
Yeah. His reaction was awesome, because my mom said you had the camera, and then you were just like,
Oh, fuck.
but yeah, then once it pokes through, you're pretty much good, and you keep it there for a bit, but you don't want to go too quick. Like you really want to milk the letting it go, and like you poke a few times, and inside you're like, I don't want to do this. This part hurts, but it really gets a good reaction when they see the skin.
The first time you did such a good job, actually, because like first time doing it in front of a crowd, you hadn't done it that many times, period. Like,
No, twice I think.
Yeah.
Once or twice.
and it was like, man, yeah, you did such a good job.
Now, here's
because, like,
my other question.
Yeah.
You keep ramming a needle through your hand, are you going to build up scar tissue? You can't do it anymore?
That would help with it. That's how you kind of like, you start upping
it
the
makes it
needle
easier.
size. Yeah, because then you will have like a reliable tunnel and hopefully a mark that you could hit consistently. But it's just not healthy for your hand in the long term. I'm pretty sure David Blaine switched to his arm and doesn't use his hand anymore. So yeah, but I use pretty safe needles for it. I do want to up them though, because they sometimes, like when you're like, I've had it when I was auditioning for the Canada's Got Talent thing. The needle I had was dulled and it bent in my hand and came out like here when it's supposed to be in the middle. It came out like around here.
Oh, I hate that.
And then when I pulled it out, it was just completely like crooked. And so I want to up the needle size so that way it's more reliable and doesn't do that.
So speaking
Nine
to
inch
that,
nails, baby.
how did
They won't bend. They will not bend.
how did the audition process go? What was that like?
It was awesome. It was really fun. I didn't make it, for a spoiler alert, but it was awesome. Like I got to send a bunch of videos. I do regret how I went about it though, because I should have maybe just sent consistent magic ones and not mentioned that I wanted to sew my mouth shut, because then they kind of fixated on that part. And so that if I could do that, then I'd like for sure basically like make it. But I couldn't do that yet. I can now though. I guess this will be after my show.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, for my show, I'm going to be sewing my mouth shut with needles, and keeping them there.
Holy
That's such a crazy image. I mean, you were speaking to like not wanting to copy, and obviously I don't want you to reveal anything that would like compromise your career or your like future endeavors, but what kind of directions would you like to go in terms of, because I know like with Houdini and David Blaine, there's so much ground they've covered. Like, is like breath holding and like anything with like water tanks a thing you'd like to do? Or
I think I remember telling you guys that like a long time ago. Even I think because I even told you guys about like my needle through hand thing that I wanted to do before I even had attempted it.
Right.
Yeah, so far you haven't bullshitted us.
Not yet.
Nice.
Actually, I don't have a show coming up. Yeah, so the needle was the first thing, and after that, I just was like, if I could do that, I could do anything that I want to with this stuff. And so since I was 17, I've been learning how to do breath holding, and I worked with free divers and stuff to help with that. And prior to COVID happening, I wanted to hold my breath for 10 minutes underwater, and I got to 6 minutes, and then COVID happened, and it's just kind of like, I'm actually glad it happened, because then it made me really think about like all the stuff that I want to do to build up to that, rather than do something like that and then lesser shows.
yeah, like,
That's the thing. It's always like
there?
the what next, what next.
And I'm glad that happened, because if that would have been next, then there would have been a long time before that I could do something physically that would beat that.
Right.
So next, and so then from the hand, I moved on to my cheek, and then I incorporate the cheek now with that fish hook trick, if you guys remember.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then for this show, I'll be doing the mouth thing and making someone's card appear in it. And then for Beyond, in the next year, well, the next like 2 months, I plan to move to Las Vegas to learn sword swallowing and hopefully fire eating. But sword swallowing is my next thing I really, really want to do. Like I'm just, I'm obsessed with the idea of it.
That is fucking wild.
When I get obsessed with an idea, it's really hard to like shake it.
You're right.
Yeah, I mean, 7 years to learn the one thing with my hand.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, obsessive compulsive disorder is actually
I guess obviously when you're looking at something like that, the intrigue has to overcome the fear. Like, are you scared to do this stuff ever? Or are you just like, I want to do this so bad I don't give a shit if I'm scared about it?
When I'm practicing it, like there's always that like with the mouth one specifically, this is the most scared I've been before trying something. I did all my research and everything, and I was like, okay, I think I could do it now. And just every single time I brought it up, I would freeze, because I also have a pretty bad fear of needles in general. And when I go to the doctor,
that one.
when I go to the doctor, I have to like look away as they're doing my IV, and like I can't stand it. But just that, essentially the intrigue and wanting to, I really want to give people the feeling that I had when I first saw David Blaine do all that stuff, and when I first found out about Houdini and everything, and when I first saw all the circus stuff, like that feeling is just of like, what the hell is this person doing? And not being able to look away from something that you don't know is real or not, that is like
That's wild. Those needles they give you for shots, like you could put that through your hand, so they're so small you can just be like. Boop, 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 boop.
Yeah, I remember a nurse was doing it. Actually, recently I performed and I was doing the needle through hand, and the girl was a nurse, and she was in nursing, and she was like, does that actually go through? And I was like, yeah, definitely.
My dad actually used to show me this really cool thing that's like perception based. And so like somebody will bring a needle that you perceive as thick compared to like your flu shot needle is very thin, but like some shots you need are like they'll use thicker needles depending on what you're getting. And so whenever you see a thicker one, you're like, oh, that's gonna suck. It's gonna hurt so bad. And then my dad was always like, no, like perception wise, you will never be able to tell the difference between a small needle and a big one. And then he would do this thing where it's like you do it with yourself, you close your eye, you should get like somebody, you not doing it so you can't tell. Yeah. But it's like get somebody to grab like tweezers or something.
Yeah.
And then just have them variate the size of the tweezers and then poke you and then ask, it's like, is it max or is it smallest? Is it whatever? And it's like, it's next to impossible to tell.
Oh, that's
if your eyes are
crazy.
closed, yeah, it's very interesting.
The human brain is interesting.
Yeah.
So you mentioned COVID and slowing down a little bit there. Before the podcast, you told us an interesting story about COVID and what was going on there.
So I had COVID.
This is quite magical.
Late, actually. I didn't get it.
COVID was so magical.
It was pretty magical. Yeah, it made everyone disappear.
Dark magic. It made everyone disappear. My God, Chance.
Oh, not death-wise. I mean outside-wise. Apologies to anyone that suffered dearly from COVID.
Anybody who died because of COVID, we're so sorry.
Anyway,
She got COVID late.
I did, yeah. I thankfully went through the whole pandemic without getting it, especially with living in Calgary. I don't know how I dodged it. But then when I came back from my show that was in January, I came back in early December, and then I think someone in my family had it or something, but we had like a family get together. We all caught it, and it was awful because I'm pretty like health-wise got a lot of health issues, so I was not excited to catch it.
you
And
put needles in yourself. Not helping.
eat matches, that probably doesn't help. But yeah, so when I got it, I couldn't move, and then my toe started hurting really bad, and it just kept swelling up, and it like I couldn't put on my socks properly, or like even putting on pants to get through it, like to go through a pant leg, just brushing the side of the pant hurt so bad.
Oh no.
So I thought something was like really wrong, obviously. And so I went to the doctor, and he was like, have you ever heard of a thing called COVID toe?
Okay, I've never heard of this.
I've never heard of it either, but now I have.
Never heard of it prior to that. And I was like, no, I haven't. He's like, sometimes it's a rare symptom of COVID, but people's like extremities, so their fingers or toes, sometimes people will get it on all of their fingers and toes.
Oh, God.
And it's usually just one though. And he was like, yeah, sometimes it just happens, and then it's like frostbite almost. And so I had to wear like 3 socks or something and keep it out of the cold. And I didn't do that. So it got worse and worse. And then eventually it just started bleeding under the nail, burst. And
What?
yeah, one of the sores just got big and burst, and that hurt so bad. And then a few days later, I stubbed my toe, and the toenail fell off.
Oh my
Is it
God.
growing back now?
It's back now, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it permanently different?
It's. Have you guys ever watched SpongeBob?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you remember the episode where Mr. Krabs loses his shell?
Yes.
That's kind of how my toenail looks.
I
Just-
see.
Yeah, incomplete. Do you want to see a photo?
Yes.
I won't show the camera.
No, you should send it to us so we can show the camera. I took. Oh God. Oh man, it was
Nice.
so black.
Yeah.
So that was all dry blood, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
the big toe. Like,
Yeah.
couldn't have been one of the smaller ones. Make it easier.
Yeah, make it easy for myself.
I tore off my big toenail once. That my dad had all this like super ridiculous woodworking machinery, and he had one that was like a big fucking saw table. I don't know if you've ever seen a big woodworking saw table.
Yeah.
They're just like they're giant cubes of metal that
Yeah.
weigh thousands of pounds. You have to move. You have to like jack them up and then wheel them around.
Yeah.
But I remember we were moving this thing, and then it literally like he pushed it, but like so on the jack, right? It's jack has a little bit of give, so like you
Yeah.
lift it and then it kind of like goes like this. So like I'm there like trying to guide it, and like once it's going, there's no stopping it. There's no you have no control or whatever, and it just literally like the edge, like got underneath my toe, ripped it right 9 degrees off.
God.
I just felt that and it went down, and it was like one of those painful things ever.
Yeah.
And I just remember it's like, I'm not even gonna react. I'm just gonna go. And then it's like, then me and my dad just like wheeled this thing out or whatever, and it's like I'm footprints of blood behind me, like full footprints. And then I tore the whole thing off, and then I thought they didn't grow back, but then I learned that they grow all the way back.
Yeah, I was scared that it wasn't gonna grow back. I don't know why I thought it wouldn't, but like I just was scared that maybe it was like disease or something.
Yeah. Well, it's like
permanent COVID damage.
It's
Yeah,
like, especially
kind
when
of cool though.
when you cut your nails, there's still some nail there, so like
Yeah.
that makes sense. But if you rip it out all the way to the fucking root, it's like, what is there?
Well,
Like,
as long as you don't destroy the nail bed, I know because my nail is totally permanently gone because I destroyed
What
the
are
nail
the
bed.
odds of that? 3 for. Have you lost a toenail?
No, I fucked my finger up. Now my nail's all bumpy. That's about it.
3 people in one room that have lost a toenail.
Actually, my little toenails on my little toes,
Oh yeah, mine come off all
like
the
there's
time.
barely any toenail there. So
Yeah, I found that too
I
recently.
can't even cut them sometimes. Sometimes I just pick them and then the whole thing just comes off.
That's actually really common. That's a common like.
Kind of a sexual thing.
And moving on.
Andrew usually gets into it.
No,
A
not
common
at all.
fetish.
Yeah,
Picking the
It's
toenail.
like-
taking your toenails off.
No, it's a thing that is
Go ahead.
becoming more common. The theory I've read is that it's about evolving to not need our pinky toe.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Thankfully I have mine.
Really?
yeah,
That's like with
Probably because
wisdom
we're all
teeth.
getting so fat.
yes, the
Yeah.
wisdom teeth.
Mine haven't grown yet.
No,
No.
mine fit perfectly in my head. No problems. No.
He's perfect.
Maybe mine are in. Maybe they just fit.
my top ones came down, which was nice, but they did crowd my mouth. But if they pierce, it's great because then they just pull them like any other teeth. Doesn't
Yeah,
fucking,
one of mine they had to cut it out.
no, yeah. See that's when you get my bottom ones.
Now I got a hole.
I think I've got some issues related to it. That's my theory. Like my jaw is fucking clicking all the time, getting locked all the time. When I wake up and I gotta just fucking like tear the fucker out. Hurts so bad, I hate it. But I think it might. I was reading about it. It's like if your wisdom teeth start crowding your mouth, it'll like make it move into weird positions and shit. So I'm like, fuck, I might need to get them cut out. I would like them to sprout, but at this point, I don't think it's gonna happen. Yeah.
You're getting too old. You're 15 now, whatever, 16.
I've got a little would you rather for us here. to kinda
No,
transition.
it's not a would you rather.
It's a sorry if you had to. It's essentially just a bunch of would you rather prompts. That's what it is. So would you rather
There's a trademark for Hasbro.
your grandmother bursts into the room every time you're about to climax, or live the rest of your life on an airplane experiencing turbulence?
Oh, I have the biggest fear of airplanes.
But this could be an opportunity to get over the fear. And you get over the fear of turbulence and airplanes.
Also, like, my grandmother
So wait.
doesn't burst in anywhere.
Wait,
so
for
like,
the rest of your life?
Both of these are
For the
permanently,
rest.
apparently. Yeah.
So
You just have to live on a plane.
Yeah.
No, the grandma
Let's-
one.
well,
That's
let's-
ridiculous.
Let's say let's
that's
let's
actually a hard question.
let's change it. Let's change it and let's just say that you constantly feel like you're on an airplane experiencing turbulence.
That would be
get
awful.
used to it.
Actually, I have a thing. I can't remember what it's called. It's like benign VV something, but it's a form of vertigo that I randomly experience just random dizzy spells that can last like 30 minutes, and it kind of feels like a
Oh my
plane.
god, that sounds
Fuck,
terrible.
is that brutal.
Yeah, I get them during shows sometimes, and it's not fun.
Yeah.
I guess
Holy
I would
fuck.
say with option A, I would get to spend way, way, way more time with my grandmother. So I'd probably go with
Why'd
option
you say that with a smirk?
It's like probably
Because that means he's coming a lot.
probably two or three times an hour.
Yeah, I go.
It's like, oh, my grandma's about to show up right now, I guess. Fucking guy.
You'd be hanging out with him, and the grandma would burst in the room and be like, "What?"
What's going on here?
I think I'd go with the airplane one.
Yeah, me too.
Only because
Oh,
I
your
think
grandma would make
you
such
would
a scene every time.
you
Donna?
would feel like eventually you would get used to it. I think Fran raised a good point. Like as long as I didn't have to physically live on an airplane for the rest of my life.
Yeah, that would be brutal.
I think that's just untenable. I think it the feeling like you're because that would suck. Like having constant vertigo, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends. Like, is the spirit of the question then that it's like we're under the assumption that you can't get used to it, and it's like you will
Yes.
always have that stomach
Yes.
dropping
I think-
for the rest of
yeah.
your life.
That's
like,
kind of the thing. Yeah.
you wouldn't be able to live. Like
No.
you would be so uncomfortable.
I would
You'd
take
have like
that
an
over.
invisible pain as well. Like no one would believe you.
Your grandma would get used to it.
There's people that
eventually.
are allergic to gravity.
Your grandma. It's gonna be weird the first 10 times, but then number 11, where it's old hat baby, and I'll probably have sex less. Like I don't know. Like I'll adapt. I'll adapt.
I'm still taking the airplane. I think I can spin it in my own mind, even if I never get used
I
to
have to
it.
do the
Are
airplane
you
thing.
so
like,
worried about grandma seeing you come?
No, it's not that. It's like I think it's
Mine's
preferable.
lying. So it would not be a quiet burst in.
Asserting dominance is kind of what it would be like.
Asserting
Yeah.
dominance.
And if you don't like your grandma, what a treat. Now she's got it. Now you fuck,
What a treat.
fuck you, grandma. You fuck.
Well, Andrew, why don't you give us one more
Sure.
and pick a good one, you fuck.
I'm glad no one heard what I said.
Oh, you got it on audio.
Yeah, they're gonna hear
We
it.
got-
Just isolate all the audio.
I'm really glad that I misspoke. I said, did you know there's people that are allergic to gravity? And there is a thing like it, but it's not that they're allergic to gravity. They're like allergic to blood rushes or something.
I see.
So
I
when they
see.
stand up and gravity pulls their blood or whatever.
Well, this is not my story to tell, but it's not that bad. So my brother-in-law, he really likes the like what you're saying, like when you stand up from whatever and you have that sudden rush.
He likes it?
He loves it. Like he really enjoys it, and he will try to ride that high. And he has fainted before
Oh my God.
because he fucking tries to keep it going for as long as he can, and like.
For sure. We went to guys in high school that did the choking thing, which is the same thing.
Oh yeah, they got high.
They
from
would choke themselves in
choking
class
themselves.
constantly.
So they had marks
To
on
be
their throat.
clear, my brother-in-law isn't doing that weird shit. He just stands up and then he gets the head rush and then he
Yeah,
decides
he's
to
a
keep
fucking
going.
amateur then.
Does he sit down quickly again? He's like, no, one more time.
Just keep squatting up and down on
I
the chair.
think he might have said that it was
These-
like he'll try to like
These
you know,
two,
he's excited for like standing up because it might happen.
these
Like,
two brothers in high school would put their hands like this,
Yeah.
and they would go until they just about passed out, and then they'd come to. And one did it so much he made a mark on his neck
Oh my God.
by like grade 11. And they would go like this, and then they'd sit in class, and their eyes would roll back in their head, and then they
They would do it in class. It wasn't just like at home. It's like
steady.
time to
And they would
blast
just do
off.
it. They
It's
would
like,
just, keep-
blast
they would just do it repeatedly, like again and again and again and again and again.
What's
like,
funny about something like that is if they're watching this, they know who they are.
Oh, yeah,
Like, that's not a
absolutely.
very common
That's
thing.
a very uncommon thing.
and it's like you get called out at like a comedy show and all of a sudden you sit really. It's like I'm not this guy. This is really funny stuff.
that's one of my favorite things is to see someone who's heckling a comedian just get absolutely fucking demolished.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
When someone who's so deserving
Yeah.
getting absolutely roasted like that. Oh,
Yeah, as someone that has been heckled once or maybe twice.
What a shit thing.
Yeah, it's
You got heckled?
but
Do some real magic, loser.
basically but it's kind of interesting with magic. If you have a heckler, if you're on stage, usually people don't. I don't think I've ever been heckled on stage. And then I got hired for stage things and no one's gonna heckle because I'm hired.
Right.
But for like going out to bars and performing or just like going out and doing card tricks for random people, definitely been heckled before, but it's easy. Thankfully, as a magician, you could just be like, "Oh, do you want to see a trick?" Then, and then you just do like
just
a
pivot
simple
to another trick.
yeah, and then you show them one. Then usually, 100% of the time that I've experienced it, they go like, "Oh, wow, that's actually incredible."
kind of diffuses the situation.
Yeah. Versus comedians, they have to kind of
Come
pick apart
back
the
at it.
person. Yeah.
What's the worst and best kind of person to call up on stage?
Someone that doesn't talk is definitely the worst. They could be really good though if their reaction makes up for it. But I've had someone that just like it was weird. I asked who wants to come up and they put up their hand first and I was like, "Oh, you can come up." And I guess maybe they were just like they didn't realize that they'd get nervous or something, but they just seemed so uninterested in it and it was just really awkward. And I was like doing this trick where the card keeps popping up to the top and just every time they're like,
Are you
kinda
doing
hard
seeing
to-
what I'm doing here is wild.
It's
Like,
hard to play off that. Yeah.
and then I was like, and then I tried like playing it off and I was like, yeah, it's not too impressive, but I think I have something that's a little more impressive. So I did another like trick and I made the card appear in my shoe and they still no reaction. The audience was going crazy. They were just like, And I was like, okay, this is really not fun.
Well, I think we'll do one more of these, and then we'll maybe get Chance to do a trick or two for us if he's open.
5, 10, whatever.
But
Yeah, 5, 10.
so would you rather declare yourself a sex offender to everyone you meet? Again, not like not just everyone you see, but every person you like.
That-
That's the
meet,
other one is get
or
free cotton candy.
I can't do that as a magician.
receive daily cock slappings from The Rock.
The Rock one,
Big Rock one.
because he's a celebrity. I could do card tricks
Yes,
from him after.
you get to hang out with the Rock.
No, he just comes in, doesn't say a word, slaps you in the dick, and then
You got to
leaves.
think about the logistics.
Or is he
There's-
slapping me with his dick?
Oh, maybe he's slapping you. That's a good point. Is he slapping your dick
I'd rather
with
him
his
slap me
hand
with
or
his
slapping
dick.
you with his dick?
I'd rather get hit by his dick than him hit my dick.
Yeah, that's actually that's the
He's
better.
strong.
Is it
That's
just
the
once?
better one.
Hurts you, ruins the rest of
No,
your day.
every
Both of them are from now on daily cock slappings.
yeah, once a day.
So I'm going to say he mixes it up. It's not
I
always.
feel like
right before bed.
It's not always a slap with his dick. Sometimes it's like a slap to your dick.
Oh, I'd go to register.
I'd have to do the Rock one for sure, especially like if magic doesn't work out and I transition into being a clown. Could you imagine showing up to a kid's birthday? Hey, I'm a sex offender.
yeah.
Dressed as a clown.
You got plus you could turn the whole getting slapped at by the Rock into a bit maybe.
Yeah, you could absolutely work that into a show. It's like at one point, it's like, and now I'll be joined on stage by a special guest.
You look at your
And the
watch,
Rock-
And
you're
it's like arguably the most famous man on the planet.
The
just
Rock
shows up
unzips
and
his
just
pants and slaps you with his cock.
you could time it. You could have a countdown on stage. People will be like, "What's that for?" And then the Rock will just sprint through the audience and slap you, or he whips it out. But
everybody would clap. It would,
think
be a
I'm with
fucking,
you
it
there.
would fucking the house would go nuts.
I think I'm with you there because
one of
the sex offender thing would just do constant and permanent damage.
Yeah, so like you would
Your life would be
it
miserable.
would be terrible.
one of my favorite
Like what
jokes.
kind of sex? It's like
Offensive kind.
yeah, it's
you
like
can make up whatever you want to explain the fact that you're a sex offender.
yeah, I'd be like I got
But the-
drunk and got naked at a playground one time.
You could just say you peed at
the thing is,
What
the second
naked?
you're like, I'm a sex offender,
Yeah.
no one's going to listen to anything.
Yeah.
They're immediately going to assume, oh, he touches kids.
It's almost
Yeah.
worse when you're trying to come up with excuses.
It is,
That's
yeah.
the thing.
Yeah.
Unless you just admit, it's like, yeah, I'm a pedophile. Like that's what everyone immediately thinks. The second you're like, that you
And
say
then the
that.
second you're like, no, but I just pulled my dick out at a playground. Yeah, sure, buddy. Sure you did. That's
That's what
great.
they all
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
say.
Yeah.
That's what they all
Yeah.
say. Every sex offender I run into says the same damn thing.
Yeah, exactly. Every time I talk to him,
One of my favorite jokes. It's off topic from the sex
No,
offender,
please.
but it's this comedian named Nate Bargatze. His dad's a magician, and I think about it constantly now after he said that joke. But he was like, "My dad's a magician. No, my dad was a clown, but now he's a professional magician." And he was like, "I just feel like that's the order that things go. Either you start as a clown, transition to magician, or you start as a magician and
you
you
transition
turn
to
into a clown."
When you said you were picturing yourself as a 50-year-old magician,
Yeah, that
all I
big-
could think of is Big Mouth and Jay being like, because his whole masturbatory fantasy is like, oh, I'm 40 and I'm a magician. I'm a magician. I'm a 40-year-old magician.
Speaking of magic, ladies and gentlemen, prepare to be dazzled.
Okay, what's the best way to do this? Should we go for your close-up chance, or should we go for the two-shot?
For this one will probably be best.
Wide shot?
Yeah,
Wide shot?
and then you could go in close after, but the wide shot will probably be
Gotcha.
be best right now. Ooh, sorry, I just gotta unravel this. And
Oh, fuck. This.
Here.
Now you're doing string stuff. Wait.
so with me, I don't know which camera it is.
Okay.
Probably this middle one.
You want me to do a close-up here? You can tell me which one to go.
I just brought a spool of thread with me.
Okay, so there you go.
There you go. You're
It's
on
that
close.
middle one, close-up.
Okay.
He's got a spool of thread.
Yeah.
Quite standard spool spread. Your average, the one that you probably buy once or twice a day.
And could you cut a big piece, maybe around here? Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Perfect. And
These are standard scissors. These aren't magic scissors.
do you want to hold the scissors still?
Yep.
Perfect. So I'll show you guys as well. So we have this
Yep.
big piece of thread here. Fran, could you cut a smaller piece?
Just any size?
Yeah. Maybe a little more here. Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
Come on, scissors.
Oh, I brought the child safety ones. Do you want to hold your hand?
Yep.
So we have one piece off right now, and
Gotcha.
we'll put that in your hand.
Thank you.
And here, would you like to cut another piece?
Yes, my lord. There
Perfect.
we
And
go.
we'll put this piece here in Fran's hand as well.
This is standard string. This isn't magic string.
Could you cut maybe that piece right there, like that?
Gotcha.
Perfect. And we'll leave this piece in the hand as well.
Thank you, son.
And then I have one long piece in my hand. Do you want to roll up those pieces into a ball?
Can I use both hands?
Yep. Yeah, you could
You're
drop the
asking a
scissors.
lot of them now.
I just gotta make sure.
I don't know if he can do it.
Oh, I can feel the heat from them.
Hopefully.
They're starting to sparkle. Okay, got them in a little ball.
Perfect. And I'll hold the ball.
Okay.
Awesome. And I'll
There you
roll
go.
it up as well. So I don't know if you'll be able to see
Close up.
this.
There you go. He's got a tiny little ball.
Perfect. So we have a little ball of thread here. And so you guys, we're going to stick the ball of thread to the string as best as possible. Hopefully. Do you guys see
I
that?
just don't even get
Wait,
it. I
how'd you
just
do
don't
it?
even
You guys
get
see
it.
that?
How'd you do that?
With the moisture
We'll
and
go to the
cotton.
close up. Show him.
With moisture and cotton, it will
Yeah.
help with the sticking. So sometimes if we take the ball, we could actually, here.
No fucking way.
We can actually put the
Every fucking time.
pieces back together.
What?
Which is wow.
I don't even like
The
what
three
the
strings,
fuck?
or no, 4 strings. There's 4 strings. The 4 strings are now 1 string.
But I don't think that's the cool part.
Oh fuck.
Do you guys know that spaghetti trick where you could put it in your mouth and pull out your nose?
Yeah.
Oh god.
No chance. This can't be healthy for you. Oh god, I fucking wasn't going for that. You were why are you sniffing? Oh. Ah.
Holy fuck.
Ah.
Oh my god, this is fucking wild.
The problem with fucking not seeing you every day is I forget the shit you can do. Ah! Ah! He's pulling out his fucking eyeball. Ah!
He's a witch.
Jesus Christ.
Holy fuck, man.
You want me to touch it? Oh god. Ah! Oh
Oh no,
god!
don't pull. What are you
Oh,
doing?
God.
You're gonna wreck his
Oh
eye.
god! Oh god! Oh god! Oh, it's so good!
Jesus Christ.
Oh god! Oh, god.
Wow.
Well done, champ. That was really
was
good.
not
Holy
expecting
fuck.
That was
He
really
put
good.
cards in his shoe and then
Glad
he
that
put
one works.
string in his eye.
You started sniffing. I'm like, okay, he's gonna pull it out of his
nose.
nose. That's cool.
And then that's such a great lead up for that, saying like, "Have you seen the nose?" And then
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
Well done.
Oh, that's the coolest thing that ever happened. In 9 years, what's 9 times 12?
You guys want to see? Do you guys want to see
90.
another quick one?
Yes,
Yes.
Always.
Many quick ones.
I brought cards with me as well. This one has a. You'll see.
I can't believe you just pulled that out of the podcast.
So, brought a deck of cards with me. I hope they'll be able to. I'll try to keep the deck up here.
Okay.
You
You can see that. Can you see your angle there? So if you keep it up kind of just like your foam level there,
Okay.
then people will be able to see it. Yep.
Perfect. So, Andrew, you're just gonna tell me when to stop.
Okay, stop.
Right there.
Yeah.
Perfect. Do you want this card or this card?
This card.
Hit. Yeah, take it. You can show the camera. I'll look away, and let me know if you want to change your mind.
Okay, no.
Are you sure?
Yep, this is
Yeah.
it. This is the one.
Put your card face down there.
He
Perfect,
needed
and
you
we'll
to
just
change
bury
it. He needed you to change it. We just ruined the trick.
So, if I do this right, I could snap my finger, and it does nothing.
Okay.
But what happens in that moment
Yeah.
of snapping my finger is I actually turn one of the cards blue.
What?
There's only one blue card in the deck, and here I'll show the camera as well. So we only have one blue card in the deck here.
And the one he had wasn't blue. It was red. I watched it. Andrew's a liar, but I'm not.
But so Andrew,
Yeah.
Andrew's a liar, but I'm not. So we have one blue card in the deck, right?
Okay.
Do you want to snap your finger?
He can't.
And what was the name of your card?
This is the 5 of clubs.
5 of clubs. So the one blue card is the 5 of clubs. So here, we're gonna try something else here. We'll take the blue card and we'll put it on the table there. Put the cup on top of it. And we're actually going to try it again, okay?
And those are our cups.
Okay.
He didn't bring that from home.
So,
As in a
Andrew,
magic cup.
Andrew, tell me when to stop again.
Stop.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, look at that card. I'll show you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect, and I'll show the camera. Awesome. You have it in your memory?
Yeah. I got
Okay.
her.
So we're going to try it again.
Okay.
So watch again. Snap the finger, and there'll be only one blue card in the
Okay,
deck.
there was no blue cards before. Fuck you.
Oh, it's missing, actually. There's no blue card in this one. Because there's only one blue card, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to
Don't you do this.
look at...
No!
Don't do
Do you want to
that.
lift it up? Yeah.
No!
And what was your card that you have now? Your new one?
It was the 10 of spades.
10 of spades. And do you want to turn over the 5 of clubs?
Oh,
Hey,
God.
show the cam.
That's our cup.
What?
That's our cup.
And we have footage.
That's our cup.
Oh, God, we have to drown you in a river.
This is not right.
What? Every time.
I can't even fucking believe that one.
Your mom's going to be so sad when you're fucking drowning.
I can't even.
Wow. Thank you.
That was fucking wild.
This comes out after your show, unfortunately, I guess. But like, are you like? Do you plan on like coming back to Saskatoon to do shows?
Oh, yeah.
Once a year, kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Cool.
Especially because I only want to move to Vegas for like a year and a half. Unless obviously I really like it. But I just
Yeah,
wanted
yeah.
to go for long enough to kind of learn everything and hopefully meet
make
like
a good honest go of it.
yeah, and hopefully meet like a lot of like older magicians there that could hopefully teach me some things.
The
'cause-
mind freak.
the mind freak himself. Maybe it can meet him.
That's exciting.
David Blaine has a Vegas show now, so that'd be cool
Oh,
as
nice.
well. Yeah, he does an 80-foot jump.
Into like
That's
water.
wild.
No, into just cardboard boxes.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Jesus.
And he swims with an alligator. He holds his breath underwater and then he has an alligator hop in and it just swims around with him.
Really?
Yeah. It's absolutely crazy.
Man, when you go ziplining, it's like rarely are you over 50 feet. Rarely do they take you above 50 feet. Like that's fucking
Yeah.
wild.
That's such a high like number. I can't even like visualize it.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what would
Well,
be
it's like a
80
telephone
feet.
pole is just under 50 feet, I think. Right?
Probably.
Like 40 feet, 45?
The very
something like
top.
that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Something like that. So if you can picture like
2 telephone poles.
Almost two, yeah. Oh,
That's nuts.
yeah.
That's
I saw a clip
crazy.
of it and I was like, oh, I want to see that so bad.
How many card tricks do you have in circulation at one time? Do you need to relearn them? Like, are you
That's a-
forgetting stuff?
That's actually a good question because I was just thinking about this the other day. I probably know in total like hundreds of tricks. 'Cause, there's a famous saying. I'm gonna misquote it because my memory is so bad. But if you know, it's like if you know one sleight of hand move, you know like a million tricks because you could.
there's different ways to dress up the same.
Yeah.
That one sleight of hand move is the key to X number of
Yeah.
different tricks that you perform in whatever different way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's
if-
like once you know,
That technique.
once you learn addition,
Yeah.
you can add whatever numbers. Yeah.
exactly.
like
So it's
math.
like or like cooking almost like as long as you have the
Foundational
ingredients.
experiences,
Yeah.
So then you don't need to remember tricks.
No, because or I do because so magic and you wouldn't think of it when you're watching it, I guess, but when you're performing as a magician, you perform magics like magicians call them like plots. So it's like a story. So there's a beginning, middle, climax, and you kind of like there's this trick a card trick that I just saw like a trailer for it like 2 days ago, and when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, I know how he does that. That's really cool. So I started practicing it. And I showed my mom, and it's been a while since I've done a trick where I don't practice it like a million times before I show somebody. I just showed her right away, and that's why I was thinking about this is like the moves and stuff. If it's a trick I haven't done in a while, then it will be very clanky, and I won't be able to talk as much, or I don't even really talk that much when I do magic. But then the story that you're trying to do with the trick won't be as great. So a big thing that you have to do is definitely memorize like because you want to hit certain beats, and it's like almost like music as well. Because when I'm doing a trick, like there's just like there's a rhythm to performing, and you want to hit your sleight of hand moves on the off beats, but you have to memorize when the offbeat would be. People change people to people, but like just with my experience now, you could kind of find that, which is nice. And that's from like memorizing all the tricks, like to muscle memory. So I can pay attention to stuff like that. Whereas if I don't have it memorized, then I'm more so focused on the trick
and the mechanics of the trick.
Yeah,
and
rather
making
than
sure that goes.
making it like
dressing it up.
Yeah, I feel like a story. And
yeah.
yeah. So definitely memorize a lot. And I do forget some because someone will be like, oh, perform this trick. And I'll be like, oh shit. And I have to like go deep into my memory. And
Like every time I ask you to do the salt thing.
the salt one, thankfully, I won't forget that one.
I was gonna say that's
Like,
gonna be burned into your memory.
Yeah. I got a few go-to tricks that are like I could do if I was asleep.
I have another. You have an important question. I have an important one.
No, mine's important, but not in the same way. You go for it.
Because I just like, obviously magic is shrouded in so much secrecy, and I don't want to like evade that. But
Yeah.
like you probably watch lots of other musicians perform.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
For you, what separates? Because like when I'm most blown away is obviously when I see it up close because it's so much more in your face, and like I'm like there's no I'm being deceived on such a macro level, and I'm like, holy fuck, this is crazy.
Yeah,
Whereas like on
close up
TV,
is amazing.
there's the pageantry of TV. But like when I see like a Penn and Teller fool us, and I'm like, Penn and Teller get fooled,
Yeah.
then I'm like, that's sweet. What separates a good magician from fooling Penn and Teller?
So like what does it take for a magician to fool Penn and Teller?
Yeah, like what separates that person and their types of tricks?
Oh, for
Like,
sure.
Is it the work? Is it the creativity? What is it that makes them be able to trick magicians that should know everything?
From the ones that I've seen, like one sticks out in particular, and it's if you like are creative with other things other than because like I mean even I saw one recently actually where this guy did a really interesting trick, and a lot of the not a lot, but some magicians that are doing the card tricks to fool them, they'll come up with different ways to perform a classic in magic. So their guess, like Penn and Teller's guess, would obviously need to be like how they know that this trick is
Non-traditional.
yeah. But the person has invented their own like gimmick or
Own spin on that.
yeah, and like completely get rid of all the other moves that would usually perform that trick. And or they will bring in things that they're not familiar with. Like there's this one magician named Stephen Brundage, I think. But he does Rubik's Cube magic. And that would like if they've never seen Rubik's Cube magic before, then there's no way you're gonna guess how it's done.
Right.
Yeah, right. Because I imagine card tricks have a lot of the same kind of.
Yeah.
Once you understand how they work, figuring out how another one works is a lot easier because you understand the underlying.
Yeah, and so that's why
mechanics.
they have to come up with different ways of performing it, or different like devices to pull off the trick. Because if they do, then the sky's almost the limit for guesses because they only get one guess. So they have to like, if it's not done in the classical way or even slightly different than the classical way, then they have to think like, okay, like is he using these types of materials? Is he using like half a card or like they have to go through every single thing that could be possible and then nail it.
Then narrow it down.
Yeah, I mean that kind of like for me, if I would equate it, it's like if I'm watching a movie that's not done very well, I think, and I speak for Andrew and Francois, it's very easy to slip into viewing it as a filmmaker. But if I'm so taken away by the cinematography and the story, then I can actually go back to seeing it before I knew anything about filmmaking.
To me, it's all about suspension of disbelief. And it's like, if I buy in, I can let everything else melt away. And then like, I can recall it upon finishing the movie. But like, if I'm watching a really bad movie that I'm not in, I'll sit there and I'll like count the number of cuts in a scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And be like,
And I'm assuming that's the same in
That's
magic.
the exact
It's like,
same with magic, 100%. And that's one thing that a lot of people starting out, including myself, like it's one thing that you need to figure out quick. And I got lucky because I got thrown into crowds of people instantly because someone was walking by, saw me do a card trick, freaked out, and I was just showing my family. Took me to table to table to table. Never performed for anybody besides my family. I was shaking, but then next weekend saw a person again, same thing, and that like got me really at least adjusted pretty quick. But one thing that younger people and amateurs like that it's hard to explain because I don't want to sound mean or anything because it's obviously just inexperience is what you said is like, it's not that they're doing bad magic. It's that they don't have a personality behind it, or they're not.
They haven't found their voice in magic, sort of, so to speak.
And, or not even trying to experiment with different ways of speaking or performing. Because you don't even have to, because I don't talk very much when I do magic.
But you found a way to make that kind of work for you.
Yeah.
I think I actually really like your style.
I like the innocent awkwardness.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's awesome.
I like the whole like, oh shit, like
Because the magicians are always cocky is a big thing.
Yeah, that's a big personality.
Yeah, big personality, big like Joe. We were just talking like Joe from Arrested Development. Like every time you do a trick,
You're just like, oh fuck, I fucked up. Actually, I didn't.
It's like, yeah, or the fucking, well, David Blaine and Chris Angel both do this, but it's like every time they do something, fucking spike the camera every time. It's like, it's like, all right, we get it.
I was recently watching a David Blaine thing where he was reading his magic notes, and in it he writes down pause. Pause and stare.
I mean, it's like, I guess like when you're writing a script, what you'll do is like, if you want there to be an emotional, if you want there to be an emotional thing, you'll see in a script, it'll say beat, 2 beats, 3 beats. And then a beat is just like a moment. And it's like, people write in, it's like, you got to take an emotional moment here.
Yeah.
Even though that's kind of shit that's up to like the director and the actor. It's like, scriptwriter's like, nah, this needs it. Yeah.
But to circle back to the bad magician thing, or not bad magician, just someone that's not
amateur.
Yeah.
Inexperienced.
What ends up happening is you allow the person to grill your hands because you're too nervous to do more out there things and like distract them with other things. And if you're not performing at the best of your ability or with a persona, then you're more like you said, you notice different cuts and everything. The person's going to notice, oh, you did that, you did that, you did that. If you're not if they're not invested in you as a person, if you're just a deck of cards, then they're not going to care. They'll notice everything that you do. So you got to be like, you really got to be able to connect with people. Because I've heard so many times like people be like, oh, yeah, I had a magician do stuff for me before, but he's kind of a dick. Like,
yeah, I could see there's like that arrogant kind of personality that might.
Unfortunately,
like, I think it works. It's like, do you know Anthony Jeselnik? Anyone like as a comedian?
No, I don't.
So he's like, his whole thing is like, he's really good looking, and he does this like really like aloof, arrogant like thing, and then all his jokes are like these terrible, like awful dark comedy.
Yeah,
and it works because he's who he is.
Oh, I thought you were going a different direction.
But like in person, he's not. That's not who he. It's a persona on stage, right? But it works because of the type of comedy that he's doing.
Yeah,
I think with magician, like that can work if you have a certain
100%
air about you or whatever. But like,
you just got to be yourself.
Exactly.
If that's
authentic.
Yeah, if you're like, because there's so many magicians that can't pull off the big personality, because that's who they are in their personal life, or at least have an aspect of that. I just never have been like one to. I mean, actually, that's a lie. I'm pretty loud with my friends and everything, but
I know what you mean.
I really enjoy I really enjoy like the modest angle. Like,
I think it's great.
It's David Blaine calls it the shaman approach,
yeah,
where you come into someone's life and you leave them with a small miracle, and you make yourself unimportant in the miracle happening, but they still care about you showing up, and then you leave. So that's why he will do a trick and then just walk away, because he just wants to leave that person and let them react with everyone rather than have him be the, because he invented the street magic thing. Like,
I just had a brainwave that we're gonna have to wait till the camera's cut, but I had a really fucking cool idea that we have to talk about in a minute here. So let's maybe, I think we're coming close to time.
Yeah, because I think Mark and Joel are gonna be here.
They'll be here they'll be here.
Do you guys want to see one more?
Yes, let's do one more trick.
Let's end off on a trick.
I just want to ask you one more question before you show us this last trick.
For sure.
So I noticed you were talking about Houdini and David Blaine.
Yeah.
That I noticed you very purposely left out the likes of like Merlin and Gandalf and Voldemort. And I want to know why you seem to like be so reverent of these guys that do the street bullshit. But then the cinematic magicians, you seem to have a disdain
for magi,
for real magic.
If you do real magic, I do not like you.
Yeah.
Chance and I have never gotten along.
It's a difficult father-son relationship.
My son is a
We
disappointment.
fight every day.
My brother son disappoints me so much. Okay, show us another trick. Thank you.
I'll call upon Voldemort. Call upon Voldemort for this one.
You shall not be named.
I hope I don't get beef with Harry Potter fans.
Just clip your thing. It's like I fucking hate Harry Potter. I hate Harry Potter.
All right. If maybe I could do it for you if I stand up and go over there.
Sure, I can move.
Oh, actually, no, because I guess I need the mic. Hey.
Yeah.
Here.
Brad can come to you.
Okay.
And then Brad, I'll swap places with Brad. That's what we're gonna fucking do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Never switched. I never been over here.
This is weird.
All right. So.
I'm a little asshole.
So.
Oh, boy.
Whoops. Sorry.
So speaking of tricks that you have to remember, and yeah, this is one that I used to perform all the time when I was 18. I haven't done it since. I just thought about it on the way here. I was like, okay, I'm gonna try this one. So I'm kind of excited, kind of nervous.
I'm very nervous.
Here, I guess just tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Right there, perfect.
Oh, God.
So just take the card that you stopped to, perfect, and you can show the camera. Perfect. And then just put it back in the middle somewhere. Right there, awesome. And could you open up the Sharpie?
I think I got to trick this time.
Perfect. And I'm just gonna take the.
Throw sand in his eyes.
Was this your card, the Jack of Clubs? Did it jump from the middle to the top or no?
No.
That wasn't it?
No.
Oh, okay. Here, if I make a mistake, then I gotta own up to it. So I'm gonna sign the Jack of Clubs across the face. If you guys can see that,
Okay.
because when you make a mistake, then you gotta fix it.
I get too worked up with the tricks and then I forget all my cards and stuff.
It's okay. I remember.
So I'm gonna tear up the Jack of Clubs, and do you want to hold it in your hand and just hold that and put your other hand on top. Make sure the
Do you
pieces
remember
don't
what my
fall.
card is?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. You whisper in my ear.
The camera thankfully knows as well.
Okay, thank you.
All right, and so what was your card? And you could just be honest if you remember it.
No.
2 of diamonds.
The 2 of diamonds. Okay. Oh, that makes sense. The 2 of diamonds kind of looks like a like a Jack of Clubs. Eh? So with the mess up, we're gonna take this 2 of diamonds, and here, if you guys can see this, I don't know. Sometimes the 2 of diamonds
Oh
actually
my God.
does look like the Jack of Clubs.
Oh my God.
Do you want to?
What do I do with it?
Do you want to turn over the pieces?
Oh my God.
Show the camera.
And sometimes they could actually switch places.
I can't even. I hate this. Like, imagine
You're holding
so
the microphone. Magic.
That's fucked, man. Like, this is my personal space, and he invaded
In my
it.
safe space. Holy fuck, man. That blows my mind. Absolutely blows my mind.
And you know the thing
Thank
is, he
you.
couldn't have read my mind because I forgot. I didn't even know what card I had. I'm pretty sure it was an 8 of clubs, but
No, it was the 2 of diamonds.
you guys are working together.
It's on camera.
This is fucking wild because I had a jack in my hands. And he didn't touch
Holy
me.
fuck. I can't believe
He
you haven't
didn't
done
touch
that.
me. He didn't touch me.
I can't believe you haven't done that trick in
Yeah,
Whatever,
since I was
few years.
18. Yeah,
wow.
18 or 19.
Wow.
Thank you guys. Thank you for
thank
having
you.
me.
I
Chance.
honestly, without being my exuberant self, I get too worked up about getting your handgun in front of me because I'm like,
You don't want to fuck it up. You don't want to fuck the trick up.
no, I'm worried that it's like, was this your SIN number? And I'm
know?
like, oh, God,
You know?
he has my email and banking information because of that fucking phone trick where he's like, take a word off the Wikipedia page. And now I'm like, was this your bank balance? And like, well, it was. Well, it's
It
not
was.
now. And then it's like,
This is
he
my
waves
bank
in front of your
balance.
phone and then he-
What is this? Now you see me?
We should do like a comedic relief thing at Chance's shows where it's like, you know, little kids when they gotta piss, they like pinch the end of their penis, like when they're running. And we should get you on stage, and it's just you. It's like just so excited. It's like, what were your cards? I don't remember.
I can't even remember what it was.
I don't know what pinching your penis has to do with that. But
Because you have to,
You're so excited.
because of magic.
You're gonna piss yourself.
You gotta do the penis pinch though.
You gotta do the penis pitch.
Okay, well, we can't advertise the upcoming show When will your next show be after your next show?
Ooh, I actually don't know. That would probably not for a while.
My question was, when are we gonna do like magic special with you, like a video, like a.
That would be incredible.
So let's. Anyways, let's. My idea pertains to that. So let's.
Okay, well, thank
Let's
you very
wrap
much
up.
for coming on the show.
Thank you guys for
Yes.
having me. It was a lot of fun.
Fantastic
you.
first guest.
That was our.
Respect Merlin
And Gandalf.
and Gandalf and your elders.
I'll try to give them more respect.
You disrespectful little.
Stay tuned for episode 3. We're going to have the guys on from
The Sit Down podcast.
the Sit Down podcast.
Funky Moose
Funky
Digital.
Moose Digital
or
Records.
Audio
Records Digital.
Records. Funky Moose Fest.
Bonjour, Joël.
And,
Bonjour, Joël.
Au revoir.
Au
Thank
revoir.
you.
Bye.
Goodbye.